Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Star Flames, and we are back baby with another banging video. So, if you're new or returning and you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Turn on your notification bell and join the family. While you're at it, give this video a big thumbs up and support your girl. Now guys, in this video, we're gonna talk about RayJ because RayJ is going off again on Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner. It is definitely his annual thing at this point in time. Now, I do believe that RayJ was dealt a dirty hand by Kim and Kris, and I also believe that RayJ has some kind of regret around signing a bad contract. RayJ is realizing that he was basically tricked out of a amazing deal. Like he should have known better to negotiate better for himself. I believe he was too trusting of Kim and Kris as it relates to that tape. Remember, he told us that they all had agreed on releasing the tape, but we saw Kim and Kris basically telling a story that is different for over a decade, saying that it was revenge porn when that was not the case. If it is the case that RayJ did not agree on them doing that, I think that would hurt anyone to their core, because that's you basically calling an individual a criminal when you're not. But what puzzles me is that every time RayJ comes out and speak out, he's then gagged by Kim. Why would they be able to gag him just like that? So that is also questionable, which is also given the sense that, guys, after he went live, I think that was back in 2023 to expose the truth regarding that sex tape. I honestly believe that there was some renegotiation. I believe he got more money after that because he basically admitted to them putting a gag order on him. But every time that happens, he stays calm, and then give it a year, he's going to come back and talk about it. So I believe that there's still some, amount of regret that he didn't negotiate better for himself from the get-go. And I think that the major part of his regret is coming from seeing how Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner has built a $1 billion empire just from the sex tape, and he's now basically scraping for crumbs. I believe that is what is hurting him the most to his core. But I would say to RayJ, he needs to remember and understand that he's not a Kris Jenner, and he doesn't have a Kris Jenner in his life who has 4 daughters that can be picked. So there's absolutely no comparison. The Kylie Jenners, they do a lot. They have done a lot to get to the point where they're currently at. And I don't think that that's a level of success that anyone should be envious of. It should be something that people look at and say, okay, so this is the cost of fame. But, being envious of it, I don't think anyone should be envious of it. But I think that there are lessons and notes to be taken from that. Now, as it relates to RayJ speaking out again, it is from a report that I came across. So basically how they're describing it, that Suge Knight, the infamous Suge Knight, he has his podcast from behind bars. So they're saying basically in a clip that was shared by academics, RayJ is discussing Kim Kardashian and her mother, Kris Jenner, with Suge Knight over the phone. The two of them suggested that the mother-daughter duo committed fraud against RayJ and tried to destroy his career and more. Now, as I've said, that would be true, providing that RayJ did not sign an agreement which, had him agreeing to be labeled as, the guy who released the tape, and he basically committed a crime against Kim, because for 10 years, that's what they convinced the public of. And even at one point, Jeff Bezos was using the same punchline. after that entire scenario with his images being leaked and then his wife filing for divorce and him cheating on his wife allegedly with Lauren Sanchez, Jeff Bezos basically said, they wanted to do to him what they're doing to Kim Kardashian. So that would be Jeff Bezos insinuating that RayJ definitely committed a revenge porn against Kim. So, if RayJ is accusing them of fraud and he did not agree to that, that wasn't a part of the terms and conditions, then he is in fact correct. Now, they further move on to say that it is not the first time that RayJ has gone after Kim Kardashian and the family. Back in March of this year, he took to X to insinuate that he's responsible for Kardashian's success. He says, "I'm so tired of being used for my fame, man," he wrote at the time. "Kim is nothing without me. What the F I made that biatch? Effing LA thotties." Of course, he earned his fair share of backlash for the tweet, with many noting how far Kim Kardashian has come since their 2007 sex tape. Now, do I agree with that? Yes, I definitely agree. I believe that because if you look into it and if we're being honest, while what they did to RayJ was not right, it was just morally despicable, right? It was just wrong. If they had just released a sex tape and just sat back and did nothing after that, the Kylie Jenner empire wouldn't be what it is today. But we can definitely see that they consistently oiled that PR machine, and it was definitely their stepping stool to fame, but it wasn't the only thing. There were so many other things that came into play, like Kris Jenner, being able to build connection, them using her father's, connection in Hollywood, O.J. Simpson's trial, so the Paris Hilton. There are so many things that basically connects together that built their empire. It was not just the sex tape. The sex tape did play a major role, but it wasn't just that. And I think that if we're going to be honest, when it comes to the true part of Kim's success, if there should be a man that says they gave Kim Kardashian success, that man should be Kanye West. Because trust me, trust and believe, without Kanye, Kim would have long been faded already, long ago, her and her family. So if someone is going to take on such claim, it should be Kanye and not RayJ. So when he got dragged on the internet for that, I definitely agree on that one. Now, they further move on to say RayJ admitted that his internet antics don't always lead to the best outcomes, because even earlier this month, he even opened about his trade relationship with his family. So he did an interview where he said that, his family is embarrassed of him because of his behavior, but he loves his sister nonetheless. But RayJ, as I've said, he has always been one that is known to be very problematic. RayJ is just problematic. And if you listen to RayJ telling his life story, every time he tells it, he tells you that he has always been problematic ever since he was a child. So sometimes I see people saying something is off with RayJ, not saying that he's not on any substance or anything like that, not saying that he's not battling any mental health issues, but just make note, look at RayJ's history, look at some of the interviews that he has done. He has always been problematic ever since he was a child, judging from what he shared on the internet. But anywho, guys, let me know what's your 2 cents on the matter, providing you have an opinion. Do you think that RayJ is entirely responsible for Kim Kardashian's success? Because honestly, I believe that he's partially responsible, but not entirely as he's prizing himself to be. And Kim has come a very long way from that. And I honestly believe that if there's a man that should take on such accolade, it should be Kanye West, because there's no gratification with releasing a sex tape. But when you look at how Kanye made Kim into a woman, that is something that is very, very, very outstanding. Ye did such an amazing job of making Kim Kardashian a lady, but then after Ye left, she went and she dated Pete and ruined that. And then the internet was like, she gone back to the streets. Kim says she's back in them streets, honey. And many people were saying she was not even thinking smart, because if she was thinking smart, she would realize that hooking up with Pete was a bad idea. And it basically erased all the hard work that Kanye put in for her to be respected by Hollywood. Because if we are remembering and being honest, he basically declared war against the entire industry. Every time they would say Kim Kardashian is a harlot, or every time they would say Kim is a whore, every man in the industry has smashed her, you would stand firm on 10 toes down. You would say, look at me, not one goddamn toe missing. I'm standing on 10 toes, and you're going to respect my wife. And he definitely gained some amount of respect for her, that people who would not normally invite Kim and her family to certain functions and events started inviting her because of Kanye. And when she was featured on the cover of Vogue, you know that a lot of people were not having it. But after a while, people were like, you know what? It's Kanye, and she's only there because of Kanye. So if there's a man that deserves that accolade, it would definitely be Kanye, not RayJ as he's thinking. But hey, I guess if RayJ is feeling himself that kind of way, I mean, who am I to tell him not to feel overly confident? Well, let me know what's your 2 cents on the matter, providing you have one. And do all you need to do on this video, honey, to support your girl. Peace.